Hi, welcome to Verbling. Welcome to another Verbling class. My name is Hamish, and in this hour we are going to take a good look at the speaking section of the IELTS exam. We are also going to take a more careful and precise look at questions about hobbies, what you do in your free time, perhaps also where you go on holiday, where you go on vacation, things like that. So please join me in this hour. For the first 2 minutes, of course, these are for Verbling Premium users. So if you have a Verbling Premium membership, you can join me here in class and make sure you reserve that place in the classroom. If you don't have a Verbling Premium membership and you're finding it difficult to get into the classes that you most want to attend, please consider upgrading that membership so you can join us a little earlier. Otherwise, after those first 2 minutes are finished, then you'll see that join class button, and you can come in to join us. Before we start, let me just add a couple of links here. Let's see, what have we got? Oh yes, the official IELTS website. Let me add that to the Verbling chat box, and that is a good link for us to have if we're interested in the nearest examination center, how much it costs, the application process, and also some really good advice about how to prepare and also how to perform in the IELTS exam. And they have information there, not just from the British Council, but also good information from successful students, from people who have taken this exam successfully and know how best to prepare, and may have some good ideas for you in terms of how you want to prepare for an exam like that. Let me see what else I've got before we get started. Oh yes, I've got my Facebook page. Please follow me on Facebook, follow me on Verbling, and every weekend I'm going to post my Verbling schedule, and I'll let you know when these IELTS classes are happening during the week, when my TOEFL classes, my job interview classes, these are all speaking classes here on Verbling, and so that will give you an idea of when we're doing this and when we're doing that. Okay, so please take a look at that on the Facebook page. And last one. Any problems with your Verbling Hangout today? If there's any problems with sound or video, hearing us or us hearing you, take a look at that Google page. That might help you correct any problems that you're having. All right, I see our classroom is filling up, so I'm going to say hello to everybody, and then we're going to get started with our practice. All right, let me see who we have. First of all, let me say hello to Bill. Hello, Bill.
Hello, teacher Hamish.
Hi there. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good today. It's good.
Where are you from, Bill?
I'm from Vietnam.
Vietnam. Very nice to meet you. Welcome to Verbling. And are you planning to take the IELTS exam, or are you here just to practice your English on Verbling?
Yeah, I'm planning to take an IELTS exam next several months. Yes.
And so why do you need the IELTS exam? Why do you need to take that?
I need it for my scholarship.
Right. And so what are you going to do? Are you studying abroad? What do you want to do?
Yeah, I want to apply for a scholarship to Australia.
Okay.
Study higher study. Yes.
Do you know what subject you want to study?
Yeah, it's about I think it's a material science.
Okay,
Technology.
right.
Yes. Yeah.
Very good. Well, thanks, Bill. Thanks for joining us. I hope this is going to be a useful class for you. Let me also say hello and welcome back to Badir. Hello, Badir.
Hello, teacher.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear it. Welcome back to class. I hope we have a good practice for you today, Badir. Good to see you. Let me say hello also to Carlos. Hello, Carlos.
Hi. Hi, Hamish.
How are you today?
Hi. Fine. Yeah.
And I have to ask, because this is my first Verbling class of the week, and I have a beautiful day outside my window. I think you seem to have quite a good day out your window too. What's the weather like with you, Carlos?
What the weather is? Yes, it's a sunny day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It's very beautiful day, but it's Monday. It's the PT.
I know. It's a shame. It'd better if it was Friday. I agree. Good to see you in class, Carlos. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Let me say hello to. Tell me, is it? I can't remember. Is it Ivan or Ivan?
Ivan.
Ivan. I'm going with Ivan. Very nice.
Yeah.
Ivan, how are you today? Good to see you in class.
Fine, thanks. Fine, thanks. Thank you.
All right. Good to see you. I hope we get some good practice with you today, Ivan. And let me also say welcome back to Liliana. Hello, Liliana.
Hi, Hamish. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Happy to be here.
Oh, good to.
For me.
Absolutely. Well, I'm it's great to see you in class, and I look forward to your practice today. Of course, everybody here, we're going to look, of course, at the IELTS exam, at the speaking section, especially part 1 of the speaking section of the IELTS exam. We're focusing today on questions about hobbies, free time, perhaps about holidays and vacations as well. So no work questions today, but plenty of questions about the things that we do when we're not working as well. And it's so good for any student taking that IELTS exam to be prepared to talk about those other things, those other interests that we might have. So always interesting to hear what everyone does when they're not learning English, when they're not working, when they're not studying. So it should be good today. Let me say hello to, is it Orsolia? Sorry if I get that wrong, Orsolia. Tell me, how do I say your name? I can't hear you yet, Orsolia. Do you need to unmute that microphone maybe? Let me see. My goodness, I don't think we need to unmute that chicken. He sounds pretty good. I don't have one of those in Tennessee. I'm quite jealous.
Good morning.
Okay, there we go. It must be morning. It must be, that was obviously the 8:07 Central Time. Anyway, so if you want to speak to us, you can unmute that microphone and we'll hear you. Slim, hello. How are you today? Welcome back.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here and try to practice with the arts.
Okay. It's not me. Who is that? It's very strange. Anyway, well, good to see you, Slim. Thanks for joining us. And Sofiane. Hello, Sofiane.
Hello. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad you're here too. Where are you from, Sofiane?
I'm from Algeria.
Algeria, good to meet you. Welcome to Verbling. Welcome to this IELTS class as well.
Thank you.
Are you? Do you want? Let me start again. Are you planning to take the IELTS exam this year, or are you here just to practice your English?
Now I am here to practice English, but maybe in future I want to take that exam.
Okay.
Yes. For work or something.
Okay, got it. Well, it's good to see you in class, Sofiane. Thank you for joining us. Let's get started. Here we go. Now, okay, so questions about hobbies and leisure. There aren't many different questions that are likely to ask you about this. I would count this as, when we think about questions about hobbies or leisure or leisure, depending on your pronunciation, it's similar to if they ask you questions about your family or learning English, your daily routine, festivals in your hometown. What else have I got on my list? Oh yeah, food, or maybe advice that you would have for visitors to your hometown or your home country. So these are questions that they might ask you in part 1. There's a good possibility they will, but they're less likely than the questions that they ask you about your work or your study. The work and study are things it's very likely they'll ask you about those things. But it's very good to prepare for questions about hobbies because, first of all, it should be something, even if we don't get asked in an IELTS exam about our hobbies or our free time. This is just great language to practice, great things to talk about. Of course, when you meet someone new, it's of course very common for them to ask you about, after maybe you've talked about work or studies, wherever you're meeting for the first time, very common for them to talk about, well, what you do in your spare time, about hobbies, about interests. So you can find out what you have in common. Yeah, and everybody will have different stories about the things that they do, different descriptions. And if the examiner just asks you about your free time, then they're looking for a clear answer, of course, and they're looking for details and examples. Now, with these questions in part one, it's not about talking for 2 minutes on and on like that. It's about just giving some good detailed answers. So maybe we talk for 2 or 3 sentences, give them 2 or 3 things, and then they'll ask you another question. We definitely can't give a yes or no answer. We have to give, of course, we have to give more than that. But it's not an essay, it's not a speech. It's just enough detail so they can think, okay, the examiner can think, I have a clear idea of what this person does. And then, of course, they can ask you more about that. If it's a sport, or if it's you like to see, a TV show, whatever it is, or read a book, they can ask you more information, and you can hopefully, with the practice that we get today, you can give them more information and create that clear picture of the things you like to do when you're not doing this, when you're not working, things like that. Yeah. So, well, tell me, before we start with our practice, a question for everybody: What counts as a hobby? Give me some examples of hobbies.
Reading.
Mm-hmm.
Sport,
Play the music.
Exercise.
music, movies, watching movies.
Play football.
Games.
Have I missed anything? Oh, okay, movies, right? Movies.
Yeah, watching movies.
Mm-hmm.
Fiction.
Again, please.
Fiction.
Fiction? Oh, fishing. I got you. Fishing, of course. You're right. I'm right beside the lake. I should be fishing right now, in fact. There we go. Fishing. Very nice.
Walking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Bill. I like that.
Chicken. Ah, sorry.
Eating chicken, yeah. Finding that chicken, roasting it, yeah. Oh, Carlos, I like that one, yeah. And we have motorcycling as well. I like that. These are all things I feel bad because I'm not doing any of them, I must admit. I've got farming. Is farming a hobby?
Yes, yes, for someone who have a garden and try to make pleasure, you will try to make some little flowers. Yes, to cook some, not so much, but just for the fun.
Okay. And if we're going to talk about farming as a hobby, if we're talking about growing something just in our back garden or in our backyard, I mean for the British English, and we can use British or American English for the IELTS exam. If we're using British English, I would call it gardening, and that could be growing fruit and vegetables. It could be growing flowers. It could be all kinds of things. Working in that garden. So we could do those things, but we'd call it gardening. We could also call it yard work in the United States, for example. But farming sounds more like a professional version of that. So it's important to get those words right. All right. These sound like some good examples. I'm expecting to hear some of these examples and some good details as well from everyone today. These questions are very everyday questions. We don't need to be an expert in anything to answer these questions. We just need to be able to describe our own experience, our own life, just as when we need to describe a favorite object, maybe like this, or a favorite thing we like to do. It's just about expressing our own view and our own opinion. We don't need to speak about anyone else. Perhaps the examiner will they might ask a last question to say, well, what are the most popular hobbies in your home country? And then, of course, we need to, think, from our own experience, from seeing other people, from knowing the culture of your own culture, your own country, what are the most popular things. But for the most part, the examiner is absolutely going to ask you questions about you. And these are questions to give the best answer. Only you can give the best answer, because only you really know all your favorite things and the reasons why and the details of what you like to do. So no one else can give that answer. Only you can do that. All right, let me go in the list that I've got here. So I'm going to start with Bill. Hello again, Bill.
Yes, hello teacher.
All right, I'd like to start my practice with you, Bill. You're number 1 in our list. So, and again, we can imagine with all of these that there we go. For example, this is later on in part 1. There will be they will ask you for your identification. Of course they will, and they'll introduce themselves, and maybe they'll ask about work or study or your hometown, and so they'll have those questions like that. So we'll pretend we did that, and then they'll move on to one of these other questions for part 1. And of course today in this class we're looking at hobbies and spare time. So Bill, let's move on to what you do in your spare time. Tell me about your hobbies.
Yeah, I like watching movies. To watch movie on my spare time. In the weekend when I have time, I always watch movies, especially action movie. Yeah. Yes, I love. Yes.
No, go on.
Yes, I like action star like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah. And Sylvester Stallone. Yeah.
What other hobbies do you have?
Yeah. I have play badminton.
Very nice.
Yes, at the weekend, and with my co-worker after work. Yeah, we spend about 30 minutes to an hour after work to play badminton. Yeah.
I like some of those points. But what I like most is you give me the what, because I'm asking for the what. I'm saying, okay, what are your hobbies? Oh, tell me, what other hobbies do you have? You give me the what, but you give me the detail as well. So you're talking about, you name the hobby, then maybe watching movies. You talk about the kind of movies, and then you give me an example of the actors you like watching in those movies. And with badminton, and I love badminton as well. You give me the what, which is the badminton. You tell me how often you play the badminton, and you also I was going to ask, well, who do you play with? But you told me that as well. In terms of someone from work. So I think those are good details. I want to ask you also, Bill, about your holidays. How do you spend your holidays?
Holidays. If I have a long holiday, like 2 or 3 days, I will go somewhere with my family, somewhere far, quite far, about more than 100 kilometers, with my family. For example, I would go hiking to the mountain. Yeah. Or go to some beauty spot for sightseeing. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Bill. I like those. Again, I like those details. Let me just put those in the box there. So you mentioned hiking, and you mentioned sightseeing. Now, I know that Bill knows what hiking is. Can anyone else tell me? Can you explain hiking to me?
And you go up to the mountains.
Yeah. Right. So we can talk about going for a walk. Yeah, and that's just a right. But with a hiking, this is a little bit more serious. Yeah. And so it's not mountain climbing necessarily, but hiking. You'll need to prepare. You need to know where you're going. I'm sure you need some water, things like that. And so hiking, that's good exercise. This is not. I mean, and of course with hiking, it's very much an activity in itself. I mean, we could go for a walk, and that could be a walk to get some food. It could be a walk to the bus stop. But hiking is the objective. It's for the exercise and maybe for the view, for the scenery as well. Yeah. And well, and how about sightseeing? What is sightseeing?
Yeah, we usually go to camping near the lake. There's a lake near our house, and we have children, so we take them to the lake to let them play over there. Yeah. We have two
Bill, yeah.
children. Yes.
I like those. I like those details. Sightseeing is a little. I mean, I want to make sure that we're clear on what sightseeing is. Can anyone give me a definition, a meaning of sightseeing?
Can I try?
Sure, go ahead.
I think it's.
Oh, Carlos, yeah.
I think it's to try to visit some places, like if we go to Egypt, for example, we try to visit Sphinx and pyramids. Amazing thing, or maybe natural views like sunset, sunrise, something like that. It's mostly recommended for couples.
Can I add something?
Yeah, sure you can.
I think it's when you're visiting, it's an interesting activity when you're visiting amazing places as a tourist.
I like
buildings, monuments, something like this. Museums.
I think that to visit some nice places and something that natural, something interesting. Natural.
Yeah, maybe natural. Definitely interesting. Absolutely right. I like all those examples of sightseeing, and of course, often it's the thing that a town or a city is most famous for. So if we go to Paris or London, if we go to a big city like that, but also a smaller city, there's going to be something. You know, you visit a city, and maybe you ask the people who live there, well, you know, you could say I'm a sightseer, I'm a tourist. What should I be looking for? And of course, there'll be something they'll be proud of, or something they know is the most famous thing, the most interesting thing, as you say, about their town, and so they'll point you in that direction. It's over there, yeah. But sightseeing, that can be, you know, that's definitely a thing that people can do, and that's definitely a holiday activity, a vacation activity as well. Bill, I want to say thanks for that practice as well. I really liked your details, Bill, and I thought that was a good, fluent, coherent answer as well. So nice stuff from Bill there. Let me go to Badir. Badir, are you ready to practice with us?
Yeah.
All right. First of all, Badir, tell me about your hobbies.
Well, my hobbies, my favorite hobbies, firstly, is fishing. I like fishing. So I find in fishing a tranquility, and also that give me the opportunity to dwell my attention to the child. Also, I have another favorite. It's soccer. I like to play soccer. In this game, it can be for me a challenge to like what I want to say. It can be a challenge for me to say to build my reputation with our people. So that can be for me like sorry, I don't know what I want to say. It's difficult for me.
Okay. But dear, tell me, who do you play soccer with?
Well, I'm working with I'm playing soccer with the team here in my country.
Okay, and how often do you play?
Now it's 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing
But
soccer.
yeah, and how regularly do you play?
Yeah, I'm playing three days in a week.
Okay, right. Mhm. And what about fishing? How often do you get a chance to go fishing?
Yeah, fishing. I'm doing fishing in the end of weekend, like Sunday
And
in the morning.
yeah, okay. And is it where do you go fishing? Is it close to where you live? Do you have to travel to get there?
No, there is a place. It's near to my city.
Mm-hmm.
Here I can do these hobbies.
Okay. Okay. Well, but dear, thank you. I like those. First of all, thank you for practicing with us, and also thanks for giving those examples. I think fishing and soccer. Obviously, they're great ones to talk about. Of course, we'll need to. We can. I think, and you were talking earlier about the reasons for doing some of these things, and of course the reason for fishing most of the time it might not be about catching fish. It might be about the peace and quiet, or the tranquility that you can experience while fishing. It is something that we need discipline, we need quiet, and it's an interesting activity, and one that's interesting to talk about and hear about people's reasons for doing that, how we feel after we're fishing, how we feel when we're fishing as well. And soccer, of course, is a very different kind of activity, and that's an interesting one to talk about as well. So it's worth preparing and thinking about the language around these two activities, and just thinking, okay, well, how often and where and when and why, of course, and who with, and all those things, and also with any hobby, I think it's a great idea to think, well, when was the first time? When was the first time I did these things, and why? Because we know there are all sorts of reasons why we start doing certain things. Perhaps it's family or friends, or something we see on TV even, or read about, that we decide, oh, I'm interested in that. So there are a lot of things that we can talk about and describe to create a good picture of these hobbies for the examiner. Absolutely. But dear, thank you for practicing. That was nice. Let me go to Carlos. Hello, Carlos.
Hi. Hello.
All right. I think you know my first question. Tell me about your hobbies.
Yeah, I like to do a lot of things, a lot of activities. For example, go to cinema or read. But overall, I like to do motorcycling. It's my favorite hobby. I practice it more or less since for 10 years ago. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and I like it to practice more and more. It's my favorite hobby without that.
Yeah. Is
Yes.
it an expensive hobby?
Yeah, I think it's expensive, but I think in my opinion, is if you can pay this hobby, it's return the very good experience. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. It's a expensive hobby, but I enjoy it, and it lets me to enjoy the weekend, and in even the holidays. Yes, it's I think it's not expensive if you enjoy it.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point. I like that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned reading and cinema as well. What kind of film or movie do you like to watch at the cinema?
Yeah, I like it. All kind of cinema, but maybe my favorite what is kind of cinema or is the thriller or films about political arguments or yeah. For example, or Spanish films is good too. Yes, I think. I like the films that tell about an interesting history. I think. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Carlos, you mentioned that you can do motorcycling on holiday as well. What else do you do if you're on holiday? What other things do you like to do?
In holidays. Yeah, is if I have money, I like to travel to abroad. For example, two years ago, I was in London for 3 weeks. I like it so much. This city. I think it's a big city. It's marvelous. It's you can do a lot of activities in this city. And if I can, I travel with my motorbike to, for example, 3 years ago to France or to Italy. For example, I like to know other countries and find out new landscapes or whatever. Whatever. Yeah.
Okay, Carlos, thank you. I think that's a really good, interesting example of a hobby and something that we can, as you say, we can become even more enthusiastic about, and maybe even more passionate about. The more we do, and the better we get at something like that. Carlos, I want to say I like you use tenses. You use tenses pretty well and pretty consistently when you were describing these. You talked, for example, I was in London 3 years ago when I did this and I did that and I liked it. One of the more difficult tenses, but one that it's so good if we get it right, is 1 second. There we go. Is when we talk about how long a period of time. For example, there was a time when you started motorcycling, right? That was in the past, and you're still doing it now. So we need to describe the amount of time between when you started and today. And I know you gave me the amount of time. I think you said 10 years. And there are two ways we can do that in terms. You mentioned for and since. So if we, and I just want to add this because it's such a it's a very good way to put it. So we can say I.
Yeah.
So we can use for if we're giving the amount of time, and we can use since if sorry, there we go. If we have a particular date that we're thinking, okay, back then that's when I started. But if we use I have been, and then the gerund, if we're using the grammar, so I have been motorcycling. So we have a present perfect progressive or present perfect continuous tense, which is a lot to remember for the grammar, but it's a great way and a very fluent way, and it's also what the examiner will be listening for. If they maybe, as I know, and I mention this for everybody, in part 2 of the IELTS, of the speaking section of the IELTS exam, sometimes you'll get a question, and one of the points will be, well, how long have you been? Yeah, and so we need to use that. One of the more complicated, I think, English tenses, but it's a great way to talk about experience. Of course, you know, if you didn't motorcycle anymore, if this was something you started in the past but you finished, and you don't do in the present, we can just use used to for that. Of course, you know, it's like, well, I used to. Oops, I got a spell. Sorry. And that's a much easier thing to do, and of course a much more basic English thing as well. The use of used to talk about experience, as long as that experience is done now. But this, of course, your motorcycling experience, well, that continues. You're doing that today. This is not something that you've stopped. You keep on doing, and you expect, of course, tomorrow you will keep on doing it as well. So this is something that continues into the present, and most likely into the at least the short term of the future as well. So yeah, I've been is great, and we can use for, and we can use since, and that will give the examiner or anyone you're speaking to in English a really clear idea of the time frame as well. But I mention that for everybody because this is good language to have. You know, I've been going to the movies. I've been reading nonfiction books since, or for 20 years, whatever the time frame is. But I thought motorcycling, that gave us some interesting language, Carlos. So thank you for practicing. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, no problem at all. Ivan, hello again, Ivan. Are you ready to practice with us?
Yeah.
All right, glad to hear it. Ivan, tell me about your hobbies.
My hobbies is in the week is the rowing and the run. Rowing in the lake. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the holiday in the weekend, finish week, and play the music guitar, and play my band is favorite hobby for me. And other hobbies, watch the movie. I don't have the specific kind the movie. I like the whole movie, and I like the music. I like literature. I like read the literature. I prefer the literature, the book literature, and other hobby. I like the run, but my preferred hobby is to play the music. To play the music in the band, my band.
Okay, and then what kind of music do you play with your band? Can you describe that?
Okay. Okay. Sorry,
That's okay. The sound went. Yeah, you were talking about that you played music in a band. What kind of music is it?
Okay, the kind of music is the hard rock. Hard rock. I like the rock, and I play the cover in specifically in Led Zeppelin, Guns N' Roses, AC/DC, Metallica. The typology, the kind of the music. I like it.
All right. You see, there's some good details right there.
Yeah.
I like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love rock and roll.
Me too.
Okay.
So, but I wanted to just stop it there for a minute, because those details you're giving, Ivan, those are really helpful. And so if we playing as part of a band, playing music, that's a great hobby to talk about. But it really helps when sorry, 1 second. Todd, getting some noise from me there. It really helps to give that extra detail, to talk about the kind of music, and to give examples. And even, of course, sometimes we're thinking, well, I'm not quite sure how to explain this music. But if as soon as you talk about the bands like Guns N' Roses and Led Zeppelin, it'll be very clear to the examiner the kind. And of course, if you can do both, if you can say, as you did, hard rock and we play covers of these famous bands. Well, there's no, all examiners will know, anyone will know exactly the kind of music. So it's a great way to explain what you're doing. That's really nice.
Absolutely, and again, very important for me. I'm from Italy, and I learn much language, the English. I sing the song, the cover. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, no, and it is a lot of people can help. It can of course help them learn English by learning by singing those lyrics and by singing songs, and it's a very popular way for some people to improve their English as well. Yeah, Ivan, tell me, what about your holidays? How do you like to spend your holidays?
My hobby holidays. Sorry.
Your holidays, your vacation. How do you spend your vacations?
Oh, I spend vacation in the sea. Normally in the sea. In the sea, I live in the city, and I prefer staying. Go in the sea. In the sea.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Ivan, thank you, and I want to.
Thank you. Thank you, teacher.
I want to put that point in about, when we talk about hobbies, when we talk about things we like to do, we need to use that ing form of the verb. I mean, we can say I like to play, I like to swim. We can use the infinitive, but I'm expecting us to use in part one that they ask about hobbies. Well, I like guitar. So we have that ing. So we need to use the gerund if we're doing it like that. So I like playing guitar. I like watching movies. Yeah, I like going to the beach. I like swimming. I like fishing. So we're listening for that ing, for that natural sound. If we're not using ing, then yeah, sure, I like to watch movies. I like to swim. Absolutely. So we have a choice about which one we use. But it's very common for English speakers to use that gerund, that watching, playing, talking, singing, whatever it is, and it gives a very natural, very smooth construction to our answers as well. And it means we can give a list. I like watching movies. I like cooking for my family, things like that. So we can talk about a lot of hobbies and give a lot of examples using that gerund form of the verb. Ivan, yes, thank you for practicing. Let me take a note there.
You're welcome.
All right. Let me say hello again to Liliana.
I'm ready.
All right. Liliana, tell me about your hobbies.
Okay. I like exercising my body, taking dance lessons once a week with a group of neighbors. So we usually dance different rhythms, such as salsa, merengue, and cumbia, our typical dances in Colombia. So I think it helps me to improve my elasticity as well. I improve my eye movements, and I think it's a time to relax. And when I follow the music, I forgot that the world exists, and we usually have a lot of fun as well. And I usually do Pilates at home 3 times. It helps me to improve my range of motion, as well as improve my circulation system, and strengthen my back. I think and at the same time I learn how to breathe in a right way, because sometimes I'm not conscious about my breathing. And I like reading at night, especially fiction or drama novels before going to bed. I've been taking English lessons since 2 years to improve my English skill because I love English. It's my passion, and I need to improve my English skills as well to get a well-paid job in my country.
Sure. Okay. Lilian, you mentioned, you talked about the exercise, the dance, the Pilates as well. How long have you been doing Pilates?
I've been doing Pilates since 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
When I
why did you start Pilates? How did you find that?
Because I was told that this kind of exercise it's really good to your back, and when you are in front of your computer for a long time, sometimes your back pains, and it really helps you to improve your postures as well.
Posture? Yeah.
So I find it very helpful for me and very relaxing at the same time.
Okay. Okay. And I really like the language, and I really like your description in terms of why you dance, why you do exercises like Pilates as well. You gave me really great detail about the advantages of doing these things, and also in terms of the physical and mental advantages. And you talked about helping you focus on your breathing. You talked about, you used freedom of movement, or range of motion, which is a great expression. You talked about elasticity. I can't say it myself. Elasticity. I think elasticity is fine. I think I would also go for flexibility.
Flexibility.
Yeah. If we're talking about if we're talking about the range, again, talking about the joints, shoulder, the back, and the hip, things like that. Flexibility is a good one, of course. And we know, I know as I get older, it's harder to to touch your toes, reach down like that. But of course, my goodness, if you're dancing correctly, and things like Pilates, that gives you that opportunity, yes, to stay flexible or improve your flexibility. So I thought some really nice descriptions there.
Thank you.
Sorry, but let me write that in there. Flexibility. There we go. I think that's right. Lilia, tell me, what about when you're on holiday? What do you like to do?
I like to stay in a countryside. On last holidays, I went to we rent a country house about 3 hours driving from my city, and we found this city very relaxing, because it's a country house on the mountains with an amazing landscape. So we find a quiet place to calm ourselves and to enjoy the landscape, and it's near to the town, to a little small colonial town. So we usually went there to walk and to visit some interesting places like museums or colonial houses that they rebuilt, and they are hostels or hotels for tourism.
All right.
It's kind of places to be calm and quiet, and to enjoy the nature as well.
Okay. Well, those are great details, and I think, I mean, you describe very well the good reasons, and again the advantages to going to somewhere that's not in a big city, that's further away, And we can absolutely talk about enjoying the peace. That's a very natural, very common phrase people use in English to describe. Okay, well now I'm not in the city. I'm in the countryside, or I'm by this. I'm just somewhere. I'm somewhere remote where I'm able to get away from the noise and the bustle of the city, or the noise of everyday life, and just enjoy the calm. So you were using great words and describing very clearly the reasons why a lot of people prefer to do that. But I like peace and quiet as a very common, very easily understood phrase for that. We can talk about tranquility. I think I just wrote that down. Tranquility. Tranquility. I like that.
Enjoying peace and quiet.
There we go. Yeah. So things like that. Lillian, I thought you just. I mean, when you were talking about the dance and the exercise, but also about the holidays, I really liked your descriptions, and I liked that you were quick to give examples. You were quick to say what it is and why you like doing it, and also examples of the kinds of activities that that you like to do there. So that was really helpful. And these are the things that the examiner is going to be listening for. In this part of the IELTS exam, they want to know the what. They want a direct answer, but they also want examples and details to help create that picture for them, because they're not there. The only way they can know more about this place really is for you to tell them. So it's really good to give those details, and of course it's also really good to use this kind of a language if we're meeting anyone and we're talking about hobbies. I mean, that kind of answer you're giving, anyone would be glad to hear those kind of details if they're asking you questions about hobbies or holidays, things like that. And I'm sure they'd like to share their own experiences with you as well. So yeah, so some really nice details. I liked your answers, Lydia. Thank you for practicing with us. No, sure thing. Let me go on to next on my list, which is Slim. Hello, Slim.
Hello.
All right, Slim. Please tell me tell me about your hobbies.
Actually, I want to testify. First of all, I am enjoying some peace, quiet, and quiet. That's why I try to make some hobbies that we have this tranquility, like swimming, diving, and I'm try sometimes to make working in the country near the beach. But also I have sometimes I can sometimes spend my time with my friends by meeting them in playing football, or doing some game video, or some game called billiard. I like so much spending time with them, but I like also tranquility.
I'm sorry, tell me again. Tell me again, Slim.
I like so much spending time with them, but I like also tranquility and some peace. That's it for me.
Okay, okay. Well, you give me lots of different examples there, Slim, and those were some interesting things to talk about. And I think the examiner will often come back to you on some of those points and say, oh, can you tell me more about this, or when did you start being interested in that, or who do you do that with, things like that. So it's good, if we have a number of things that we want to talk about, a number of things that we're going to give as examples for hobbies and things that we do in our free time, it's great to be able to also give that why and where and when and all that stuff. But I liked your different examples, Slim, and so thank you for those. Thank you, I appreciate it. Nice one. I want to go to and say hello as well to is it Tuan? Tell me, how do I say your name?
Tuan.
Twang, I'm sure I'm doing that. I'm not very good at that, am I? But tell me, how are you today?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you today?
I'm pretty good. Are you happy to practice with us?
Sure. I'm very happy.
Well, that's I thank you so much.
This is my first time.
I know, and welcome to class. It's great to see you here. Tell me, first of all, tell me about your hobbies.
Okay, my hobby is swimming. I love swimming because I like the feeling when I swim in the water and worry about nothing after a hard working day. And because when I was child, I didn't have a chance to swim, so I did it by myself 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I like it, and my hobby is reading. I like reading book,
Mm-hmm.
especially novel, because I think that I can learn something nice from ca characters.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
From yeah, and yeah.
Okay, tell me more. Tell me more about the swimming. Where do you go to swim? Do you swim with other people?
I often go to a swimming pool with my friends,
Mm-hmm.
and I go 3 times per week
Oh.
because I like it, and I buy tickets per month, and because I want to save money for that.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. And it's really enjoyable.
Okay. And let me see. Oh yes. So is are you swimming inside? Is it an inside
Yeah,
swimming pool?
inside is the
Okay.
swimming pool. But
Right.
sometimes, yeah, on the weekend I go to the beach
Mm-hmm.
with my
Right.
friends.
Okay. Yeah. What other things do you like? Are there other things you like to do at the beach? Is it just for swimming, or are there other things you can do there? Oh, okay. Right. Mm-hmm.
Reading, yeah, reading books.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like
And
I like reading novel.
mm-hmm.
Novel? Mm-hmm.
Novels, yes, right, yeah. Okay. Yeah, those are novels. And you mentioned already that you can, there are things we can learn from the characters in these
Yeah, from
novels, and
characters.
that's a great detail, by the way. I like that one.
Yeah.
What about when you're on holiday? Are you doing the same kinds of things, or are there other things you like to do when you're on holiday?
On holidays, I go out with my friends. Um, we have I'm going to have a holiday, a big holiday, this weekend. So we have a plan to go to Hoi An, a famous city, maybe 2 kilometers from here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to going there. Really like it.
And so, do you know what you're going to do when you reach that city? Do you have any plans?
Yeah, we have. We go to Banner Hill,
Mm-hmm.
a famous hill with a cabin
Uh-huh.
that that we can sit inside, and we will go up to the mountain, the top of the mountain, and then have a look and go around there and explore something nice and something like it. And then we will move to a small beach along the city, and we swim there. And we go to a small island near there.
Mm-hmm. And
Enjoy them.
yeah, and be careful with that. Let's see the pronunciation. We've got a silent S, haven't we, with that word? So just island.
Island, not Iceland.
That's it. Yeah.
Island.
That's it. Perfect.
Island.
Those are some great details. Thank you for those answers, first of all. And I like whenever someone talks about going to the mountains and with a cabin, it's great to use that verb to explore, because it shows that's exactly what we do, especially if we're there for the first time or just the second time. If we go out into the forest or in a mountain, we have somewhere to stay. But there's we're going to walk around. We're going to check things out, and so explore is a great verb to use there.
Yeah.
All right, we're out of time, but thank you so much. I'm sorry for the students I didn't get to. Thank you for everyone who did speak with me today, who did practice. I really, as always, I really enjoyed hearing those answers. I heard some great examples, some great language. I really appreciate everyone taking the opportunity to practice here in class today. Of course, we're going to be doing more IELTS classes and more TOEFL classes as well this week. So first of all, let me just remind you of that IELTS website, that official British Council IELTS website, a great website for any questions you have about the exam, whether you need to take it, and you know, when and how much and all those things. And let me also just finish by putting in my Facebook page. So please, great to see you all here today. I hope to see you again here on Verbling very soon. Check out the Facebook page and follow me there. So every weekend I'll give you an update of that schedule, so I can so I'll be able to see you again here for more practice, more speaking practice here on Verbling. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Have a great evening. I'll see you again soon.
Thank you so much,
Okay?
The rest of your day.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks. Bye-bye.